This morning, I stepped out onto my porch and froze. Every single one of my massive, century-old eucalyptus trees lay scattered like fallen giants across my mountain retreat. Diane, our HOA president with an iron fist and an endless supply of rules, had finally crossed the line. I thought that was rock bottom, but 2 weeks later, federal agents swooped in, declaring the whole area a protected wetland zone. Diane. She flipped out, screaming, "This can't be happening." I had no clue what storm was brewing next, but it hit like a hurricane. If you've ever battled HOA insanity, share your nightmare in the comments. I'd love to hear how yours stacks up. Let me back up and tell you who I am and why this mess exploded the way it did. I'm Ethan Hayes, a structural engineer by trade and a nature photographer on the side, always chasing that perfect shot of wild landscapes. 7 years ago, I snagged this cozy lodge in Pine Ridge Heights, a quiet subdivision tucked into the hills of Oregon. The place was nothing fancy, just a weathered log cabin from the '60s, but it was enveloped by these towering eucalyptus trees that had rooted deep for over 100 years. At dawn, their leaves shimmered like gold, painting the walls with dancing shadows. I'd escape there on weekends, camera in hand, mesmerized by how the branches swayed in the wind, weaving patterns of light that felt almost alive. Sure, I might have idealized it, but in those quiet moments, I'd think, if I don't fight for this, who will? It was ancient, untamed, bigger than me. Unlike the cookie-cutter yards around me, with their trimmed hedges and matching planters, my spot was raw and real, a natural fortress against the wind. I'd ponder the storms those trees had survived, the secrets buried in their bark. But I was blissfully ignorant that my haven was about to clash with someone who saw chaos in anything that didn't fit her sterile blueprint. That's when I met Diane Langston, our HOA overlord, a force of nature wrapped in spreadsheets and superiority. She had the look of a corporate auditor turned dictator, hair pulled back so tight it could snap wire, clipboard always at the ready, eyes scanning for flaws like a predator. Turns out, she'd been a municipal planner in her old life, which fueled her obsession with upholding standards. But really, it was about power. She ruled our little enclave like a fiefdom, where even a stray leaf needed her stamp of approval. Her voice dripped with legalese, turning simple chats into interrogations. The first red flag was the lavender bush fiasco. Petty doesn't even cover it. I'd planted a vibrant row along my fence for some color, syncing perfectly with the tree's wild vibe. Mine hit 4 feet. Her rules said 4.5. Next day, she amended it to nail me. Within hours, a violation notice landed, reeking of spite. Staring at her own sprawling, succulent patchway over regs, I felt the hypocrisy burn. A neighbor chuckled. Guess she wants us all shaved down to AstroTurf. But it wasn't funny. Diane's drive-bys grew creepy. She'd slow her car, glaring at my eucalyptus like they were rebels defying her empire. Was I paranoid? Maybe. But her stare screamed calculation, as if those trees mocked her control. That bush skirmish? Just a probe. I caved, trimmed it down, hoping it'd end. Big mistake. I'd emboldened her. Tuesday brought the hammer, an HOA decree demanding I axe every tree for obstructing neighborhood views. Views of what? Identical garages and fences. These giants predated the subdivision by decades. Then came a $300 fine for hedge misalignment disrupting lot harmony nonsense. It was personal. She craved dominion over the one untamed plot. Her letters escalated from polite nudges to threats of liens and days. I pored over the HOA docs, but it was a labyrinth of jargon meant to baffle. Helpless rage bubbled up, like being a kid cornered by a bully with the rulebook. The emergency meeting was my shot at reason, but it turned courtroom farce. Diane presided like a judge, gavel banging louder at my every word. I pleaded the trees value their shade, their history, but she drowned me in obscure clauses. Neighbors averted eyes, fear silenced them. Even the guy with tacky garden gnomes dodged me. Walking home, defeat crushed me. I drafted a fiery email, then deleted it. What good was rage against her machine? Whispers of support came in shadows, but no one dared go public. It felt like a suburban dictatorship. Her final ultimatum sealed it, a dated '88 zoning map claiming no barriers to removal. Sketchy. Then Harold, the reclusive retiree next door, dropped a bomb while tending his roses. FEMA flagged this as a wetland buffer back in '76, he muttered. Harold, ex-flood specialist, had the stamps to prove it. Those trees weren't decor, they anchored soil against erosion, safeguarding downstream homes from floods. Removing them? Federal felony. Hope flickered, but so did dread. I woke to chainsaws roaring like apocalypse. Crews butchered my grove, trunks crashing like thunder. I stood paralyzed in pajamas, watching my sanctuary bleed out. 3 hours later, stumps everywhere, cabin exposed and raw. The scent of sap choked me. Rage boiled. Then Diane's email, $1,500 for enhancement services. I laughed hysterically, then nearly broke. A passing neighbor whispered, "She's opening views for upscale buyers." Clue ignored. Community? Crickets. Sympathy nods, but no backbone. Legal digs confirmed HOA's grip, but Harold's briefcase changed the game. Maps, studies irrefutable. My fight ballooned. Not just trees, but lives at risk. Sleepless, I wrestled ethics. Report her? Or let it die? Desperation won. I anonymized as a concerned residents group, emailed FEMA. Agent Ramirez perked up at wetland zone eucalyptus removal. Tone shifted, serious. Promised boots on ground. Hope surged, laced with terror. What if it backfired? Black vans arrived like a raid. Techs swarmed with drones, probes, documenting erosion. Neighbors gawked from lawns. Diane. She dropped her watering can at the FEMA emblem, vanishing indoors for frantic calls. Her newsletter spun it as partnership. Ramirez nuked that with a public denial. The HOA showdown packed the hall. Diane minimized, paperwork glitch. But when Evelyn, the soft-spoken librarian, grilled her on flood dangers, she blanched. I stood, FEMA's probing federal crimes. Silence exploded. Faces turned, whispers ignited. FEMA's town hall was reckoning day. Ramirez's slides demolished her 76 designation, drone proof of damage, $90,000 fine, forced replants, eternal oversight. Gasps echoed. Diane unraveled, blaming overreach, me as saboteur. You can't shield every tree, she shrieked, hair fraying, voice cracking. Evelyn demanded, did you know? Stammers. No confidence vote, landslide ouster. Her glare at me? Pure venom, but broken. Aftermath transformed us. Evelyn led reforms, slim bylaws, gardens, open forums. FEMA's replants bloomed, young eucalypti rising strong. Values soared with eco-status. Diane. Shunned, sold cheap, fled. A year on, she returned, pinning her old badge, apologizing, while accusing me of ruin. Then the truth. Commissions from view clearing for luxury lots. Greed in HOA clothing. 6 years later, those trees tower. Kids swing from branches. I filmed a doc, Anchored, When Neighbors Rise, sparking reforms nationwide. One stand rippled out. Was Diane a villain or victim of her own hubris? Should HOAs have such power, or are they breeding grounds for tyrants? Would you report a neighbor breaking federal law, even if it tanks your community? Drop your takes below, debate, like if it fired you up, and subscribe for more real-life showdowns that could be yours.